Hi, I'm Alyssa Mastroni, and I'm the Evaluation Data Manager at the Evaluation Center. The objective of this video is to review the procedures required to successfully complete the GPRA data collection process. Please note that at this point, the new GPRA Client Outcome Measures tool has not been finalized. Therefore, we do not have access to the tool in SPARS or SAMHSA's online reporting system. Once the new tool is released, there will be additional trainings about the tool and specifically how to enter GPRA data into SPARS. The GPRA data collection process begins with gaining the client's informed consent to participate in the GPRA data collection. Once your client consents, you will then complete the client contact form, followed by logging into SPARS, accessing the GPRA Client Outcome Measures tool, administering the tool, and finally entering all of the data. The focus of this video is to familiarize you with the process from beginning to end of collecting the required data. There is a different training video available that discusses the GPRA Client Outcome Measures tool itself. However, if you are not familiar with SOR and GPRA, we recommend you start with the SOR and GPRA overview video. All training videos are available on the SOAR Colorado website. Let's get started. The first step in the data collection process is to gain informed consent from the client to participate in the GPRA interviews. Informed consent must be communicated to each client, explaining that their participation is completely voluntary and that they can opt out at any point in time without it affecting their access to treatment. Each client must be informed that there are 4 total data collection points for the GPRA interviews. The first occurs at intake and is the responsibility of the provider at the opioid treatment program or OTP. The 3 other interviews will be conducted by contractors hired by the Evaluation Center. The GPRA interviews may feel very invasive to your client because the tool covers various sensitive topics. Therefore, your client may be hesitant to consent or may become hesitant to participate once you have begun the interview. In order to encourage client participation, it is helpful to explain to your client that the interviews are something that will help improve the quality and availability of treatment for other people in the future. You can also let them know that they may refuse to answer any question asked during the interview. It is very important to reinforce that their consent to participate or their responses provided during the interview will not affect their access to treatment. You may find the Informed Consent document under the Resources tab on the SOAR Colorado website. Please review this document with your client and have them sign the final page. Clients will keep the document with information explaining the GPRA data collection process. However, the signed consent page will be kept on file. The signed consents will be submitted to OBH or the Evaluation Center on a monthly basis. Please note that more information about submitting the signed consent forms will be available in the near future. The SOAR Colorado website is where you will find the most up-to-date resources and information about the tool and data collection process. Once your new client has agreed to participate in the GPRA data collection, you will then complete the GPRA Client Contact Form. This is a web-based form that is used to collect all contact information for your client. Identifying information, including client contact information, will not be stored in SPARS, or the reporting system that is used to collect and submit all GPRA data. However, this information is crucial for the Evaluation Center contractors to contact the clients for follow-up interviews. Therefore, it is extremely important that accurate contact information is collected in this form. You can access the form via a link on the Providers page on the SOAR Colorado website. Keep in mind that this form is to be used only for entering new client contact information. If you have to update one of the fields in this form after submitting, please contact Alyssa Mastroni at the Evaluation Center. This form requires you to enter client information including client first and last name, client ID, and GPRA intake date, or the day that the actual intake interview was completed. Please note that client IDs are a unique combination of letters and numbers assigned to each client. The client IDs may not contain characters that identify the client, such as birth dates or social security numbers. The first 6 digits of the client ID will be the OTP license number. A list of license numbers can be found on the SOAR Colorado website. Do not include the hyphen in the client ID. Each site will need to determine a convention for the remaining digits of the client ID. We recommend you use the client's electronic health record number as long as it is made up of alphanumeric characters that again do not identify the client in any way. This client ID will not change during the course of the grant and will be used to identify and search for client records for follow-up data collection purposes. It will be entered into both the client contact form and the tool itself within SPARS. Returning to the client contact form, you will also enter information about your client regarding their preferred language, how they were referred to treatment, how long it took for them to travel to the appointment, and their mode of transportation, as well as their email address. You will also enter clinician information, including the first and last name of the clinician and the clinician's phone number. You will then enter the contact methods the client prefers we reach them at. This is crucial for successfully completing follow-up and discharge interviews. You will enter their primary phone number and select which contact methods the client prefers, whether it's calling, texting, or whether or not we are allowed to leave a voicemail. A secondary phone number will then be entered if available, and again you will select which contact methods the client prefers us to reach them at. You will then enter the client's home address, including whether or not their mailing address is different from their home address. And the final pieces of information that will be collected in the client contact form are the names and phone numbers for up to 3 backup contacts. This information is crucial for the required follow-up interviews that will be completed by the evaluation center. When asking your client about backup contact information, assure them that we will only reach out to these backup contact individuals if we absolutely cannot reach the client to schedule or complete a follow-up interview. We will never share any information with the backup contacts and will only refer to the GPRA data collection as participation in a health study. You will be required to input contact information for at least 1 backup contact in order to submit the form. Finally, you will verify that you have reviewed the client consent form and obtained client consent before you complete and submit the client contact form. Once this form is submitted, you will be redirected to the SPARS portal, which is where you can access and begin administering the GPRA tool and entering the GPRA data. After I've mentioned SPARS multiple times, you may be wondering, what is SPARS? SPARS is SAMHSA's performance accountability and reporting system in which all GPRA data will be collected and entered in. To access the tool, you will use the Data Entry and Reports tab, select For CSAT Users, and click on CSAT Data Entry. However, before you can access SPARS, you must first create a SPARS account. In order to create a SPARS account, please email gpra@soarcolorado.org with your first and last name, email address, and phone number. The Evaluation Center will forward this information to SPARS for their approval. You can expect approval to take between 5 to 7 business days. Once approved, you will receive a verification email with your SPARS username and a temporary password. You will create your own password the first time you log into your account. Please be attentive to any correspondence from SPARS because your temporary password will expire after 72 hours of receiving the verification email. If you miss the 72-hour login period, please contact the Evaluation Center and we will contact SPARS to send another email verification. If you have not received a verification email from SPARS regarding your new SPARS account, first check your spam folder, as this email will be coming from a Do Not Reply email address. If you still have not received a verification email, please contact the Evaluation Center. Once you have access to a SPARS account, be aware that you will be required to update your password every 90 days. SPARS will send you an email notification and you will be alerted when you log into SPARS starting 2 weeks before your password expires. If at any point you are having trouble with your password or logging into SPARS, please contact the SPARS Help Desk. Their contact information can be found on this slide, on the SOAR Colorado website, or on the SPARS homepage. Once you start entering GPRA data into the online tool, you may have questions about the tool itself. Please watch our training video on the GPRA tool, and if you have any additional questions, please contact us at the Evaluation Center. After gaining access and logging into your account, you will then administer the tool and enter the data into SPARS. Once you click the CSAT Data Entry and Reports tab, you will then be directed to the data entry screen. Here, you will click the Services button and navigate to the Add Client Intake hyperlink. After clicking the hyperlink, you will be able to begin administering this GPRA tool. That was a lot to go over. Let's review. The first step is to gain client-informed consent to participate in the GPRA data collection. Then complete the client contact form. This will then direct you to SPARS, where you will log in and access the GPRA tool. You will then administer the tool through an interview with your client. And finally, you will enter the data collected during the interview into SPARS. Remember, in order to access your SPARS account, you will need to email the Evaluation Center at gpra@soarcolorado.org. Thank you for viewing this video. Please contact us if you have any questions.